Welcome back. Currently, we are learning Python, and this is day 19 of the playlist titled Python Beginner Boost. And in this video, we will learn about object oriented programming. So, object oriented programming is a powerful programming paradigm that allows us to create more organized, modular, and reusable code. In this video, we will start by understanding the core concept of object oriented programming, which includes classes and objects, and how we will create class and object using Python. So first of all, let's learn what is object oriented programming. Object oriented programming is a programming paradigm that organizes code around objects representing real world entities. It focuses on modeling data and behavior as objects, making it easier to design complex systems and maintain code. So what is a class? In Python, a class is a user-defined data type that acts as a blueprint for creating object. It defines the structure and attributes of objects and their methods. So, a class is an user-defined data type. So, suppose you want to store the information of a student, then you will create a new data type which will be a class, and it will be named student, and then you will create the variable of type student which will be known as object. So first of all, let's create a class. Let's create an empty class. So for creating a class, you have to use the keyword class, and after that the name of the class. So suppose I want to create a class named car. So this is how you create a class. And if you want to create an empty class, then you just write the keyword class along with the name of the class and colon, and on the next line you will write the keyword pass. So this is how you create a class. Now let's try to create an object of this class. So for creating an object of this class, you have to name the object. So let me name the object as car1, and it will be created using the name of the class, which is car, and after that we will give the parenthesis. So this is how you create an empty class and create the object of this class. Let's execute this code. So python 3, after that the name of the file, oops dot py, and enter. As you can see on screen, nothing is printed because we haven't printed anything on screen. We just try to create an empty class along with object. Now we will try to create a class called car with some attributes along with some methods. So attributes are variables and methods are function which you can use with the objects. So first of all, let me remove this pass keyword. So for creating uh, the attributes, or for initializing the attributes of the class, we have to create a special function which is known as constructor, and it is created the way I am showing it here. So we have to use the keyword def, and after that we have to write underscore underscore init underscore underscore. So this is how you create a constructor. So constructor is used to initialize the attributes of the class. So first parameter will be the self. I will explain about the self parameter in some time. After that, we will write some more parameters which we want to set or for this class. So make, model, and year. Now after that, we will use the self keyword, and then we will set the make. So this is object.make, and we want to set this equals to the make which the user will pass. So we will pass make here. After that, on the next line, self dot model, which will be equals to model, and on the next line, self dot year, which will be equals to year. So we are able to create, and I have missed a colon here, that's why it is showing red squiggly line. Let me add the, this is how you create a class with attributes. We want to set some attributes whenever we create an object. So here you can see I am creating one object car1, and here I am passing car. Now let's try to execute this code, and as you can see, we are getting some error because while defining the class, we have created the init method and it is expecting three parameters: self, not self, make, model, and year. These are the three parameters which this uh, class is expecting while creating the object. So the in class methods, the self parameter refers to the instance of the object calling the method. It is used to access the attributes and method of the object. So here we are trying to use this self keyword to access the attributes which are make, model, and year of the object. It is always the first parameter in the method definition. So this is how self keyword helps us. So it helps us in accessing the attributes and methods of the class or of the object. So let's give some values of this attributes. So first of all, I will set values as, let me give the make as Toyota, then I will give Corolla, and after that I will use the year which will be 2022, and let's execute this code. Let's execute this code, and as you can see, we are not getting any output because we haven't tried to print anything on the screen. But now as we have created the object of this class using the attributes, we will be able to access the attributes using the dot notation. So we will use print statement. After that we will use the name of the class, the object, so car1, and when we press dot we will be able to see the attributes which we have set. As you can see on the screen, year, model, and make are shown. So I will try to print the make, and let's save the code, and now we will try print it, and as you can see on the screen, Toyota is being printed. So this is how we access the attributes of a class. Now let's try to create a function inside a class, and the function inside the class is known as method. So I will create a function def which will be named as start underscore engine, and here also we will write some print statement. So I will write engine started, and let me use the f string engine started. Here I will write self dot make. I can directly, there's some with save this code, execute it, and let's try to uh, call this method. So car1 dot the name of the method which is start engine, and let's execute method, and let's see what will be printed on the screen. X0 positional argument but 1 pass key. So here it is, we haven't provided the self keyword, that is why it is giving us an error. So once I use the self keyword, it will remove the error, and now if I try to execute this code, you can see Toyota engine started. So this is how you create methods function inside the class which are known as method. Let me also create one more method which will stop the engine. So def stop underscore engine, and here we will provide the self keyword, and again we will print some statement here. You can do any calculation here, but I am just trying to show you how to create classes, objects, attributes, and methods. So here also I will write self dot make and engine stop. So if here on the next line, if I print or I execute this method of the object car1 dot stop engine, and then let's execute this code, and you will see Toyota engine started. Toyota engine stop. Let's try to create some more object of this class. So here you can see we are trying to create one object car one of the type uh, car. Let me create one more car 2, which will be again we have to use the car class, and here we have to set the attributes. So we will set some attributes. Let me take one more example. I will write Honda, then I will write Camry, and here I will write some year 1201. Okay, so now if I try to access the attribute of this object, then it will print Honda, Camry and 2012. So car 2 dot, if let me use the print statement, car 2 dot make print car 2 dot model, and on the next line we will print car 2 dot year. And also let's try to execute the functions of this object. So car 2, and when we press enter we will also get this function start engine, and when I use car 2 dot stop engine, so when I will execute this code on line number 24, 25, 26, it will print Honda, Camry and 012, and here on start engine, stop engine, it will print Honda engine started and Honda stop. Let me just write some variable here, some print statement here. So print creating Toyota car. Here we have created Toyota car, and after that we are creating one more car which is Honda. Let's save the code and execute. As you can see on screen, if I make it bigger, first of all Toyota is printed, because here we are printing on line number 21 the make of the car 1, and here while creating the carable object we are passing the make as Toyota, that's why Toyota is printed. After that we have executed the function start engine. So whenever we execute the function using an object, it's called a method. We are trying to execute the function inside a function of a class, that's why we are calling it a method. So Toyota engine started, after that stop engine, which is Toyota engine stop. After that on line number 25 we are printing creating Honda car is printed, and after that we are creating one more object of the type car, and here we are setting the attribute make, model and yearest Honda, Camry and 2012 respectively. That's why it is printing Honda, Camry and 2012. And after that we have executed these functions start engine and stop engine using the car 2 object, that's why it is printing Honda here. So I think we have learned a lot about objects and classes in this video. So let me recap it. What is object oriented programming? Object oriented programming is a programming paradigm that organizes code around object, as you have seen, representing real world entities. It focuses on modeling data and behavior as objects, making it easier to design complex systems and maintain code. So this is it about object oriented programming. What is a class? Class is a user defined data type which acts as a blueprint or a template for an object. This is definition of class, and in order to create a class we have to use the keyword class, and after that we have to give the name of the class. But in order to create an empty class which will not be useful, but for as a placeholder you can create an empty class by giving the name of the class and writing the pass statement inside it. And in order to set the default attributes for object, you can use the init method, which acts like a constructor which initializes the values of the attributes value. Here we are trying to initialize make, model and year, whatever the user is passing from by at the time of creating this object. So here user is creating an object and passing Toyota Corolla and 2022. That's what we are setting for these attributes. And after that we learn about creating functions which are known as methods. When you create a function inside a class, they are known as methods. And here also we have to use the extra keyword or extra attribute which is self. So it is always required. You can't create a init method or any method without using the self keyword. It is required. And after that we try to print some statement, and here we have created two objects, car1 and car2. Car1 object has three attributes, the Toyota Corolla and 20, and here we are trying to access the attributes and methods of these objects. That's why we are writing the dot notation here, and again we do did the same thing for the second object. So this is it about the object oriented programming part. The first video we will learn some more concept of object oriented programming in the next video. Thank you very much.